Dr. Anthony Balinga is a highly respected and accomplished professional in the field of medicine, with a focus on patient care and medical research. With years of experience and a wealth of knowledge, he is a trusted and esteemed member of the medical community. Early life and education. Dr. Anthony Balinga was born and raised and studied between Cameroon, France and the UK, where he developed a strong sense of community and a passion for helping others. He pursued his undergraduate degree at a prestigious university, where he excelled in the sciences and discovered his true calling in medicine. He then went on to attend one of the top medical schools in the country and earned his medical degree with honours. During his time in medical school, Dr. Balinga was exposed to a wide range of medical specialties, but he found his true passion in patient care and medical research. Professional career. After completing his residency and fellowship training at a renowned teaching hospital, Dr. Anthony Balinga began his professional career as a practicing physician. He holds various degrees in different fields, one of which is a degree in combined orthodox and Chinese medicine, and specialized in Chinese medicine practice and research. He has since dedicated his life to providing the highest level of care to his patients and advancing medical research in his field. Throughout his career, his work has contributed to the development of new treatments and therapies that have improved the lives of countless patients. In addition to his clinical and research work, Dr. Balinga has served on several professional committees and organizations, and is a sought-after speaker and lecturer on topics related to his field. Personal life. When he's not working, Dr. Anthony Balinga enjoys spending time discovering new things or with his family and friends, as well as pursuing his hobbies and interests. He is an avid reader and enjoys staying informed about current events and medical advancements. Dr. Balinga is also passionate about giving back to his community and regularly volunteers his time and resources to support local charities and organizations. He believes in the importance of social responsibility and is committed to making a positive impact on the world around him. Overall, Dr. Anthony Balinga is a dedicated and compassionate professional who is respected by his peers and his patients. His commitment to excellence in patient care and medical research has made him a leader in his field and a true asset to the medical community. By Kolawale Michael, JP, for Bridge Afrique magazine.
It's one-on-one, yeah. Welcome to One-on-One with CEOs and Pacesetters.
You're welcome to another episode of One-on-One with CEOs and Pacesetters. And I am Uju Nice, your host for today's program, all the way from Lagos. I am a selfless woman and entrepreneur, the founder of Unique Girls Guide organization that is mandated to raise young girls and pull them off the streets and thereby promoting morality. It's been on for years and the girls has been blessed and be saved from it. All right, you're welcome to our program, and we are glad to have you on our one-on-one with the CEOs and Pacesetters program. It's our pleasure to have the two powerful medical professionals as a couple on this segment. Though you are representing her, that's okay. In this program, we have guests from all around the world. Our priority is to promote CEOs and Pacesetters, making them known around the world and respected, to connect Africa to the world, and as we promote the beauty, culture, and investment opportunities in African countries to the world. Further, we attract credible investors. So back to the program, sir. The program is brought to you by Bridge Afrique Media Network and Africa TV. You will have the pleasure of every one of you. So you are, if you are a CEO or Pacesetter and you want to open yourself for business to the world by sharing your activities with our global viewers, please feel free to contact our executive producer, Mr. Kolewole O. Michael, Justice of Peace. So let's start, Mr. Anthony Balinga. Please introduce yourself for the benefit of our global readers and viewers who are just meeting you for the very first time on our one-on-one platform.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here with you guys today. My name, as you just said, is Dr. Anthony Balinga, and I am resident in Shanghai in China, along with my wife, who unfortunately cannot be with us here tonight. And I wear several hats, amongst them that of a medical professional. And my wife and myself were both qualified in Orthodox medicine and traditional Chinese medicine simultaneously. And so we have, over the years, endeavored to set up a practice which kind of harmonizes everything we know about Orthodox medicine and traditional African medicine with traditional Chinese medicine. So we have ended up with a system which is unique, which is essentially our own. And the reason why we did this was because we recognize our origins. We're Cameroonian, and we have, in my case, I have some Nigerian parentage, some Portuguese parentage, Angolan, and Congolese as well. It's a long story. But basically, we recognize that in Africa, we do not have that much money to spend on healthcare. And so how can we be able to provide healthcare to the majority of the people without making it, too expensive? And so we came up with this system which incorporates TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, into Orthodox medicine, and also adds like information or knowledge from traditional African medicine. So basically that's what we do. And we have simplified it to the point where we can treat people online. I mean, we don't need to be with you. We can be anywhere in the world and simply ask to see your tongue, pictures of your tongue. And then we may ask 2 or 3 questions and we know exactly what's going on. And then we can go on to prescribe traditional Chinese herbal remedies, which should be able to assist you in resolving the situation. So that's one of the aspects of our work. And the other aspect of our work is right now we're working with a team of American researchers, and we are trying to build an app, we're in the second phase of building an app, which is unique in itself, in the sense that this application is AI-based. It's based on artificial intelligence. And all you need to do is upload a picture of your tongue, and this application will be able to tell exactly what is wrong with your health and prescribe what you need without the need for a human being. So this is not completed yet. It's still in the works. Might be finished by the end of the year, or probably by next year, I suppose. And it will be a big thing when it's out, because there's nothing of that kind really in the world right now. So basically, that's who we are. We work together, my wife and myself, on these.
Okay. Basically, you've just answered the second question I was about asking, but for the benefit of understanding perfectly, I'm going to ask again. I can see both of you are medical practitioners. So can you describe your medical practice and the services you provide, which you have done? Just being curious, can you share with us what motivated you both into choosing medicine as your profession? What are the most common medical conditions you encounter in your practice, and how do you approach treatment for them? In your opinion, what are the key qualities a medical practitioner should possess? I believe you got my question.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. So I'll do the best I can to answer these questions in a nutshell. Okay. Basically, like I said, our medical practice is very simple. If you walk into our working space, you wouldn't think that it was a clinic of any sort. It looks more like almost like a home kind of environment. And this is designed on purpose to make people feel relaxed. And the main reason was because we remember as children how scared we were when we were taken into a hospital or a clinic. The smells, the looks, and everything, they scared us before anything even started. And so we design our environment such that it looks very homely. You don't really see much which is obvious, which indicates that it's the clinic. This is the first thing. The second thing is we incorporate science. So we have computers, and on these computers, we have applications which carry information relative to you. So this information might indicate things about the appearance, the shape, the color of your tongue, and about acupuncture, about herbal medicine, and so on. So we have these computers around, and we have laser equipment, which may on occasion replace needles. So sometimes we don't use the needles, we might use lasers, or we might use electronic acupuncture machines. And so you don't see most of this. When you walk in, you just see a typical room. But when we work, it's kind of hands-on. So I might ask you to lay yourself down on the table, belly up, and I might press into your belly. And in doing so, I am detecting diseases and their locations. And the same pressing can serve as therapy. Just by pressing on the abdomen, we can resolve a whole host of illnesses just by that pressure on the abdomen, on different positions on your abdomen. Few people in the world practice this, but this is based on both Chinese traditional medicine and African traditional medicine. And the result is really great. Within a few minutes, you feel very different in your mind and your body. Now, we can go further to apply pressure to specific points on your body. For example, this one here. This is a point we might use for headaches, high blood pressure, constipation, diarrhea. You know, a whole host of problems can be treated here just by pressing this particular point, even toothaches. But this is a point which should never be pressed in case of pregnancy. If you do that, you apply pressure here, probably within the next 5 minutes, the waters will burst. Yes. So our body has points which appear to just be ordinary, but by applying pressure to them or inserting a needle, you can get things to happen. You can get your brain to release chemicals, which normally you would go to purchase in a pharmacy. Your body can produce them inside, and you can heal yourself. So this is acupuncture or acupressure, and this is one of the services we offer. The second service, which is essentially my wife's domain, which I also studied, but she mostly practices that. This is the herbal aspect. And so she puts together the right herbs for this condition, which we have detected. I take care of the acupuncture, massage, the exercise therapy, known as Qigong in Chinese. And she takes care of the herbs, the herbal aspect. And so usually we can deal with many illnesses which people often think are very serious, like diabetes, for example. We're talking about type 2 diabetes here. We don't think this is a big deal. And you may be talking about looking at problems like a sciatic pain, which runs down the back and the hip all the way down the leg. A lot of people complain about these kind of problems. We can resolve such problems very, very easily. You know, many kinds of problems like palpitations, high blood pressure, you know, reproductive problems like male and female reproductive problems. We deal with these all the time. You know, we have infertility problems. People come to us because they're struggling with infertility, and we assist them in this domain. We have issues like female problems like painful menstruation, you know, and we get quite a number of people showing up for that as well. Because in Chinese medicine, these are regular, you know, issues which are dealt with all the time. We have skin conditions, the works. We have a whole host of conditions we deal with. Yeah. Because I'll explain why. Chinese medicine is very different from Western medicine. and we focus mostly on using Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is not looking for diseases. It's looking out for what we call syndromes. And these syndromes are groupings of symptoms. So you can have 12 to 20 symptoms together in one group. This is a single syndrome. And so if you treat the single syndrome, maybe 20 to 30 different diseases will disappear. So by treating one thing, you cause 20 to 30 other things to disappear. So Chinese medicine works this way, yes. So you might have a syndrome like what we call a yin deficiency, which means the body fluids are depleted and your body cannot cool itself down anymore. So you have inflammation, overheating, which will lead to hypertension, lead to diabetes, and so on. So by simply treating the yin deficiency, you get the diabetes disappearing, you get hypertension disappearing, you get headaches disappearing, lots of things. And then you have yang deficiency, which means that your body has lost its heat. So your temperature usually will be below 37 degrees, anywhere lower than that. So when you suffer from yang deficiency, we need to heat up your body again from the inside or from the outside. And we have techniques for doing this, herbs which can do this. So you might have impotence problems, for example, in men, you know, and by boosting the heat, the internal body heat, the impotence problems might possibly disappear. You have blood deficiency problems, you know, like similar to anemia or blood circulation problems. We call this blood stasis. This is another syndrome. So you have blood deficiency, it's one syndrome. Blood stasis is another syndrome. Qi deficiency, which just means electrical deficiency or electric deficiency. Energy deficiency, we can boost that as well. You have qi stagnation, which just means that the electrical circulation in the body is poor. So you're looking at nervous issues here. We can resolve these kind of problems too pretty easily. And often, like back home, you have lots of people running in the streets and we call them mad people. Well, in many cases, what has happened is simply that their temperature, the internal temperature has gone up. And this heat has gone up to the brain and affected how the brain functions. All you need to do is cool it down. A few acupuncture points, a few herbs cools that down, and they're back to normal for the majority of cases. And back home, we hear people saying, oh, this is witchcraft, they sold themselves for money. It's not true. This is a disease. Yes, it's a simple problem if you understand what it is. They cannot control the speed of thought any longer because the nervous system is firing too fast. So you have to slow this down, cool this down, they get back to normal. They didn't sell themselves for anything. They might say that because the culture around them makes them say that. This is what they learned as kids. So when they're unconscious, they might repeat what they were taught about this kind of condition. But in reality, they never sold themselves for anything. So often they will take these people to churches to pray for them and stuff like that. But in many cases, all you need to do is stick 1 or 2 needles and wait for about 30 minutes to 1 hour. And then they're more or less themselves again. You know. So there are lots of stuff like this which we deal with all the time. And I could talk and talk the whole day, but basically that's that. That's the first question, I guess. Now, as to what motivated us to choose medicine as a profession, I would say that maybe medicine chose us. We didn't choose it.
Wow, this is good.
Yeah, and from my understanding of life nowadays, I think that people are born into a vocation. Some people are born to play the piano. Some people are born to be engineers. Some people are born to be doctors. So you have a natural feeling for what you do. And another thing that can happen is, like in our cases, both my wife and myself, we were kind of sickly in our early life. And in my particular case, I was very often in the hospital, even almost died several times. And the hospital could hardly do anything for me. So I got worried, and I quickly realized as a child that if I cannot figure out what's going on with me by myself, probably no hospital will ever be able to help me. I might lose my life along the way. And so I became curious in my early years, and I began to read books about, like traditional medicine. And I fell across Chinese traditional medicine and homeopathic medicine. These are two different systems, and they both appealed to me, but Chinese medicine was more accessible to me. And so I began to read more about this. And finally, someday I met the Chinese ambassador in my country while I was treating the admiral of the Navy. And he asked me, would you like to go to China to learn more about this? And I thought it was a joke. I just said yes. But the next year they called me and told me there was a program going on in China at the time, and I should hurry up, bring my documents, and go to attend this. And they financed this, the initial program. So I ended up in China, studying Chinese medicine for several months, found it very interesting, went back home, gave up my job. I was working at the University of Boya at the time, gave up my job, came to China, and went back to school from scratch. I just knew this is what I have to do. So I studied for 6 years, just like my wife did. She followed me here. And then we went to school, studied, graduated, worked in some Chinese hospitals in Taiyuan City at the time. And during that period of time, we had kids, one after the other. So we had planned to leave China much earlier, but as the kids were born, speaking Chinese habits, culture, it became difficult to leave until the kids grew up. And so we found ourselves here. But we always planned to return home. And so we started building up a system which could be applied in Africa outside of the Chinese system. And so we left the Chinese hospitals, we set up our own working space, and we began to receive our clients such that we could work the way we wanted to work. So we don't work the way the Chinese hospitals do. So if you come to me, for example, and you're face to face with me, I'll just ask you to please open your mouth. So you just open your mouth and I take a look at your tongue. In 30 seconds, I know exactly which syndromes you're suffering from. It takes just about 30 seconds. And I know exactly what's the matter with you. After those 30 seconds, I already know which acupuncture points I need to use. And I might ask you to lie down, I stick some needles in, and you already start to see the results within minutes. So when this is over, I might transfer you to my wife, who then does the prescription for the herbs. And then once payment is made, we purchase the herbs and we ship them to you. And we direct you as to how to consume them. So this is how we work. But during the COVID problem, we couldn't reach a lot of people. And we got calls from Africa. We got calls from the US and other places. We only had the internet to work with. And so we had to adapt this to the internet. And so we began to think about how to create an application to upload the tongue pictures and use for prescription. So we actually came up with this, and we won the equivalent of a Nobel Prize, my wife and myself, for this concept, which we put together. And because of that, we had partners who offered to work with us. The Israeli government and others offered to work with us, but we chose American partners. And so we are still working with them. We have meetings with them. We provide them with feedback. And they have produced a model, an AI model, which will be completed, like I said, in some time to come. And it will be put out there for people to use.
Reach Afrique Magazine is the award-winning and globally respected publication for authoritative information regarding business potentials and opportunities in Africa of interest to China and beyond. Your business doesn't get to Africa if it's not on Bridge Africa magazine. We are the official magazine of Ethiopian Airline. What are you waiting for? You can contact us +861 391894 3324. Your business is next in line.
Africa Day. It's my Dixon record. Let's celebrate. It's Africa Day. Africa Day.
On behalf of Cameroonians, on behalf of Africans in general, and on behalf of the diaspora, we would like to welcome you to Africa Day.
Celebrate Africa Day. Africa Day.
Come and connect with the unique and vibrant African culture on Africa Day. Among the amazing products and vendors, there is African food by Chef Jeff, Arthur Sean's very special dance performance, drinks by Roy Latogs, fresh roasted coffee and cocoa beans and oil-making workshops. All of this is waiting for you at the Cameroon Import Pavilion in G-Hub. This is more than just a celebration, however. A percentage of proceeds will be donated to the House of Hope Orphanage in Cameroon. Join us in this heartfelt support as you enjoy the vivid cultural vibes. See you there on May 25th and 26th.
Celebrate. It's Africa Day. Africa Day.
It's now official. Join me on Facebook for exclusive updates and interactions. Dear fans, I hope this message finds you all in great spirits. I am thrilled to announce that I have officially launched my Facebook page, and I would be ecstatic if you could join me there. Being an artist is a constant journey of growth and exploration, and your support means the world to me. By connecting with me on Facebook, you will gain access to exclusive content, updates on my latest projects, and personal insights that I only share with my closest fans. But that's not all. I am also excited about the opportunity to interact with you directly. Feel free to drop by my page to leave a comment, ask a question, or just say hello. I will be actively engaging with your posts, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So, if you haven't already, please visit my official Facebook page, Big Mike, and give it a like. Let's build a community where we can share our passion for music, creativity, and life itself. Thank you for your continued support. I am looking forward to connecting with you all on Facebook. Best regards, Big Mike.
That's very good one. Well done. Then I will quickly go to the third question that say, personally, can you share with us your journey so far? What has been your experience, challenges, and the rewards of this noble profession? How has being a medical practitioner impacted your lifestyle and this generation as a whole? How do you stay updated with the latest advancements in medical science and technology? How do you ensure effective collaboration with other healthcare professionals for comprehensive patient care? What role do you believe technology plays in modern medical practice? And how do you incorporate it into your work? How do you maintain a work-life balance while managing the demand of a medical practitioner?
Thank you very much. I'll try to answer all these questions. First of all, like I said, we've come a long way from simply being curious about Chinese medicine to actually getting qualifications in this field and working in the hospitals in China. So we've come a long way since the early days. And what have been the rewards so far? What have been the challenges? Well, the rewards, I think, are great in the sense that whenever you see a smile on a face where there was no smile before, you feel a lot better. Just that in itself is reward enough. On the other hand, it is something which we enjoy doing. when people often go to study medicine, they usually go to study concepts. In Chinese medicine, there is a philosophy underlying the medicine itself. And this philosophy is a kind of traditional perception of cosmology. How did the world come to be? So Chinese medicine looks at the whole world like an ocean of energy, like a sea of energy. And then the different things which appear in the world as different frequency fields. So when the frequency changes, the appearance of the field of energy changes, we get a table. When the frequency changes, we get a dog. When it changes, we get a tree. And science has proven this to be true. You know, looking at quantum mechanics today, quantum physics, we realize this is true. So what we're getting is a quantum collapse. Now, I don't want to go too much into quantum physics at the moment, but I should show how it relates to what we do. So you realize that traditional societies thousands of years ago already were advanced scientifically, even though the terminologies they used were archaic, ancient and archaic. But the concepts they had discovered were identical to concepts which modern science is only starting to discover today, to understand today. So we're talking about quantum mechanics, quantum physics, nuclear principles, nuclear science, and so on. We find these kinds of concepts in traditional medicine. They were there thousands of years ago with ancient names. So when we talk about qi, which is the basis of everything in Chinese medicine, we're just talking about the theory of everything. We're talking about just energy. We know in science that energy cannot be destroyed. It can be transformed, but it cannot be destroyed. And so the whole concept of Chinese medicine is about what is energy? What types of energy do we have? How can we classify them? How can we recognize everything according to these classifications? What are the interrelationships going on between these different classes of energy? How do they impact on each other to cause health and poor health? So when you understand how to generate health by transforming energy from one form to another, and how one energy can control another, prevent it from becoming too strong, or damage it, causing it to become too weak, then it becomes a game of playing around with energies. And this in itself is fun. Now, to the mind of someone who doesn't understand these concepts, it looks like magic. Actually, it's not. You know, when Chinese people talk about yin and yang, for example, it's just a 1 and a 0, or a positive and a negative, a male and a female, a hot or cold, day and night. They found a system which can help to classify everything into these groups, and then further subdivided into 5 groups. So this philosophy in itself is fun to live with, and you can apply to everything you do, to everything you see. And so it's not just practicing medicine to us in the end. It becomes life. Your whole life is medicine, and all of medicine is life. So these are some of the rewards. Now, what are the challenges? Some of the challenges are that we are working in a land which is not our own. I mean, we're working in an environment which is different from that which we come from. And our ultimate goal is to work amongst our own people. So we do get to work with some of our people here, but the majority of people we work with are either Chinese, Europeans, Americans, or others. So we look forward to returning home and working amongst our own people. This will be much more satisfying than working outside. And another challenge has been the cost, for example, of Chinese herbs in China. When we first arrived in China, everything was very inexpensive. But China has developed into a very complex and very advanced society. And there has been inflation over time, and the cost of these herbs have gone up higher and higher all the time. So for those in Africa who wish to use Chinese herbs for therapy, they're finding it more and more difficult to afford these herbs from China. So this is one of the challenges. And so we are starting to think about how to grow these herbs in Africa or replace them with African herbs. So we're still in the process of thinking about that. So these are some of the challenges. How can we replace these Chinese herbs with our own African herbs? Because we're not based in Africa, it's not easy to do. So if we were in Africa, we would do more research in that direction, and we would be able to make it much more affordable for our people. Another challenge is, like I just said, the concepts of yin and yang, 5 elements for Africans. When you talk in those terms, it's like, what are you talking about? You know, if I say you're suffering from diabetes, everyone understands back home. And if I say you should take metformin, everyone knows about this. But if I say, you come to me, you say, I'm suffering from diabetes, and I tell you, this is yin deficiency, and I'm going to prescribe you Liu Wei Di Huan to deal with that. And then you have to do these Qigong exercises, and then I will puncture you on this point, that point. It sounds really crazy to them. And what are you talking about? You know? And so the cultural, how can I put it? The cultural difference of this system of medicine with what our people usually understand is quite wide. And so sometimes we just have to do the work, speak less, and just do it, let them see. So there is that challenge, the financial one, the cultural one, and what else? Basically, I guess that's about it, yeah, for the challenges. So how has it impacted our lifestyle? This is one of the questions you asked. I think it has made our lifestyle more wholesome. For example, my wife and I wake up in the morning. Very often we just turn around. I give her an abdominal massage. She gives me an abdominal massage and a back massage, following the same medical principles we use every day. And this saves us a lot of trouble and keeps us going, keeps us young. Just massaging your abdominal organs removes stale blood from the organs and allows fresh blood to replace the stale blood on a daily basis. And so you wake up from that table after 10 or 15 minutes feeling like a different person. And so you end up at 50 something years, because I am 56 years old now. You're feeling like a 20 something year old, like 24, 25. That's how you feel. Yes. And so you discover that age is a number. It's not how old you are on paper. It's how old you feel. Yes. Or how old you look. But you look old just because you suffer from poor circulation. So when the blood cannot circulate, when there's too much inflammation, there's too much heat, then you look old. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to drink one of our herbal. Yes, we have a number of herbs in here, and in the water. This is common in China. People do this all the time. You will find everyone has a bottle or a flask like this, everyone, and they're constantly sipping. So this is one thing, hydration or rehydration. Back home, many people don't take this seriously. Here it's a norm. People are always rehydrating all the time. They carry their flasks with them in their cars, in the offices, in the classroom. Every student has one, you know, and nobody drinks cold water. It's all hot water. And there's a reason for that. Yes, hot water, because you have your blood vessels directly under the skin of your intestines and your stomach. Now, when you drink cold water, the blood in these capillaries will freeze up and become black, and the flow will slow down. And so your digestive system cannot function very well anymore. If you repeat this all the time, you damage your digestive system, you shorten your own life, and you create a whole lot of diseases. So in China, most people tend to drink hot water all the time. And this keeps the blood flowing in the capillaries in the digestive system. and they are in better health. They digest better, and digestion is what keeps you going. It's very important. Yes. So this is one of the other things. And so, so how did it impact our lives? We actually directly apply all these concepts in our daily lives. Our children apply it to themselves on a daily basis. We apply it to them. And so our children, have never been vaccinated, but our children are almost never sick. Even when other children are getting sick around them, they are hardly ever sick. And if they do get sick, we usually deal with it ourselves directly, or they deal with it themselves. They all know how to handle the needles, including the last one, who's 10 years old. They can place the needles themselves. Yes, they know how to massage each other to deal with diseases. They know how to use the suction cups. For example, one of them catches a fever. Right now, we'll apply some oil, vegetable oil, on the back. Apply a suction cup, which sticks on the back and sucks up the flesh, and then simply slide this cup up and down, both sides of the back and the spine for about 15 to 20 minutes. Cover them up, let them go to sleep. They wake up, there's no fever any longer. It's gone. So if there was a viral infection in the lungs, this is gone too. If there was blood stasis in the heart or other organs, it's gone, because the back is connected to every organ inside your body. And so when the suction cup is moving up and down, it is moving blood and energy in all of these organs. The result is spectacular. So the kids can do this by themselves. They even don't need us to do that. So as far as how it has affected our lives is concerned, it made our lives better, made our kids' lives better, and has helped our parents and family members and friends a lot. So we have been able to assist lots of Africans as a result of what we know, and not only Africans, but lots of people across the world. So we are basically, I can say, we feel fulfilled in our lives because we're doing what we love. It's assisting us personally, and we're assisting the people around us. But it also allows us to earn a living. So we can earn a living because people will pay us for doing what we love to do. So you're having fun doing what you like to do, and you're being paid to have fun and to do what you like to do. But at the same time, you're being useful to society. So we're not just taking money from people, we're actually providing a service which is obvious and effective. Yes. So talking about science, what's the role of science in this? I just mentioned that we're building an app which is based on artificial intelligence. So we are actually incorporating science into all of this. We're taking the ancient traditional practices and linking them up with the most advanced scientific practices like artificial intelligence, internet, services, and so on. So you can see modern science, ultra-modern science, cutting-edge science coming together with very ancient knowledge. So this is what we do, and this is very satisfying. But as you can understand, you cannot always work alone. So we have like people calling from Cameroon, people calling from Nigeria, people calling from Ghana and Sudan and so on. They're not here. Sometimes we send them to hospitals to do, like some lab tests and other things to confirm certain things because they're not here, to make sure we're not making any mistakes. So we do collaborate with other medical practitioners on the ground back home, and what is more convenient for those medical practitioners to do, we hand over to them to do. And what is more convenient for us to do, we do. And in some cases, we work together. So they're already in therapy in a hospital, and they talk with their doctors, they contact us. We add to what is going on. We don't stop what they're doing, but we just add to what is going on to make sure that they get the best out of both ends. Yeah. So I hope I answered all the questions.
Yes. You answered all the questions. I think the one you didn't touch is how do you maintain a work-life balance while managing the demands of medical practitioners? I think you skipped that just in a minute. Can we hear you?
Yes. How do I balance my work life and my personal life? Is that what you mean? Well, initially, we used to work only from our clinic. But as time went on, and especially after the COVID pandemic, everything changed in China. We were locked down for a long time in our homes in China. We couldn't move. We couldn't even look outside of our windows. And yet we continued working because we had access to the internet. So in China, payments are made using our mobile phones. Everything is paid for using the mobile phone. So even though we were locked down, we could carry out our payments. We could pay for the internet. We could pay for everything we needed to pay for, and we could communicate with people in America, in Africa, and all around the world. So we continued working, and after that, we had understood that we didn't need to meet anyone face to face. We were forced to learn during that period how to guide people to carry out the treatments for themselves, or to guide other people to assist them to carry out the treatments once we had provided the herbs or the basic equipments which were needed, like needles or electronic acupuncture pens or laser equipment. So after the COVID pandemic, we began to work more from home. So we still work in our clinic, but a lot of our work is done from home now. And so it doesn't matter. Sometimes I work from my car, sometimes I work from my home, and sometimes I work from the clinic. It just doesn't matter where I am. I can work. As long as I have a phone in my hand, an iPad on the desk, or a computer, I can work. So it allows me to spend a lot more time with my family. But already, because my wife and I, we do the same work, we end up spending most of the day together, almost every single day. So we ended up having a kind of, I would say, more wholesome family lifestyle, because like my wife would be beside me and I have a case coming, and I just turn to her and ask her, what do you think about this case? She has an answer for that. And then she'll ask, can I see the talk? So I show her. She has her opinion. I have my opinion. I go on working. Then I ask her, okay, can you do the prescription, the herbal prescription for this? She does that. And then we work. So we have a good life, I think, a really beautiful life. And if we return home, this lifestyle will continue, so we don't need to do anything extra, to make any extra efforts to balance our work life and our home life. It's become almost the same thing.
Reach Afrique Magazine is the award-winning and globally respected publication for authoritative information regarding business potentials and opportunities in Africa of interest to China and beyond. Your business doesn't get to Africa if it's not on Reach Afrique Magazine. We are the official magazine of Ethiopian Airline. What are you waiting for? You can contact us +861 391894 3324. Your business is next in line.
To really showcase Africa around the world and everything African. So we'll be talking more about Africa and what Africa can offer to the world as we go on. So without much ado, I'll hand over to Ella, who will take over from the microphone. Thank you very much.
African Day, which you organize with your associate, is around the corner, right? This is coming on Saturday and Sunday, 25th May and 26th precisely. Can you provide a brief history of Africa Day and its significance in celebrating African unity and culture? Can you just briefly?
Sure. Thank you very much. So as you may know, or maybe you don't know, my wife and I, we run the Cameroon Pavilion, at the International Exhibition Center in Shanghai, well, just around that area. And we set up this pavilion with the support of the embassy. And we run this as one of the businesses we do here. And there we do international trade. So you have lots of artifacts from Africa. We have cocoa, we have coffee, and we have wooden artifacts, we have clothing, you know, and a whole assortment of African products which are showcased there. And the purpose is for B2B interaction, so buyer to buyer. We get Chinese buyers who are interested in cocoa, coffee, or other products. They sign up contracts, we do the supplies, and we request, you know, we place orders with people who are based in African countries, and they ship these things here. So we organized Africa Day on the 25th and 26th of this month there at the Cameroon Pavilion at Green Hub, around the International Exhibition Center in Shanghai. This is a very, very big venue. And the purpose is to showcase Africa, you know, using our pavilion as an intermediary. And as many people would know, or some do not know maybe, Africa Day was started to commemorate the anniversary of the creation of the Organization of Africa, of African Unity, which today is the AU. You know, so it was the founding of the OAU at the time, which is being commemorated on this day. And so it is a time where Africa is showcased around the world, where people are brought together from various countries and various continents to learn more about Africa, to learn more about who we are as a people, to learn more about the countries which are there, and to also understand what we have provided, what we have contributed to the world, and what we can contribute. And in today's world, we are seeing a transforming world where today's Africans have a very different mentality from our grandparents. We are no longer accepting to play second fiddle to anyone in the world. We aim to play on an equal footing with everyone else, no matter if it's China, the United States, or anyone. You know, and you can see in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and other countries what's going on. This is saying that the world has changed, that is changed for good. The old days are gone, and a new Africa is rising. We are representative of this new Africa. So this is one of the messages we're sending to the world. We are here to play as equals with every other nation, every other region of the world. And from now on, we have to be dealt with, or when dealing with us, you have to think about many dimensions, many aspects. And it's going to be different. It will not be business as usual. So essentially it is that. But what is being organized, we are going to showcase, like I said, cocoa, coffee. There will be oil mixing salons and coffee roasting salons, cocoa roasting salons, promoting the raw products from our country, showing people how to roast them, showing people how to mix oils from Africa, like chebe oil and others, you know, and to use them, apply them on their skin, use them for cooking and so on. So we're just promoting Africa in general. We have a chef. He will be cooking Nigerian dishes, Cameroonian dishes, South African, East African dishes, and our guests will be, you know, we have guests who've ordered already and guests who will be buying on the spot, tasting these African dishes for themselves to get to know more about what we eat, what's our menu, what's our diet. We have music, mostly African music from different countries and the Caribbeans as well. And yeah, basically this is what's going to be going on for about, for 2 days. Yes, the 25th and the 26th.
Of those, our viewers out there, they might be interested to hear, how do you get this African music? How do you invite them over to grace the occasion? Or do you have one Shanghai there?
I think I may have been misunderstood. We will not have live bands this time. In the future, we probably will, but this time we will not have live bands. We have the music, but not the musicians. So we're getting we have the music purchased and downloaded online, and so we have them played for our guests to listen to or watch the videos of them, but we do not actually have the musicians here with us this year.
Okay, okay, understood now. Yes, okay. Next, the next question. Um, I would like to be part of that African Day one day.
That's great. You're welcome.
Okay. How has the African Day celebration event in Shanghai evolved over the years? Are there any notable changes or growth in the participation and the attendance?
Yes, I would say that Africa Day has definitely evolved over the years, not only in Shanghai, but in China as a whole. Because in the earliest days, it was mostly a handful of Africans who would be there. And there would be maybe some ambassadors who were invited. This time, we did not specifically extend invitations to all the ambassadors, and we just hope they turn up on their own, because we're trying to encourage an Africa where we do not have to run after our leaders to come and promote our activities. And we hope our leaders by themselves, when they know such activities are happening, they turn up, they show up, and they help to support us as China does for Chinese nationals around the world. So if our leaders do not step up to the plate, we will do what has to be done. And this is a new trend which will happen even inside of our own countries in the future, where the people will stand up and do what they have to do without waiting for the leaders to come and do for them. So we're not waiting on our leaders. This is one change. We're taking things into our own hands and doing them. So we're not replacing our leaders in that sense. We're not challenging them, but we're trying to encourage them to do a little bit more than what they have done before. And secondly, we have more people coming to these occasions, from other communities who maybe didn't show up in such great numbers before: Chinese, Americans, Caribbean. So it's a whole mix of people coming, as well as Africans themselves. The organization is obviously better. It's more detailed, and the menu available for consumption is also improved. So we just try to make everything better each year. And this year, both in terms of the location and in terms of what is made available for people, we consider it to be an improvement on whatever has been going on before. Well, I would say that the objectives today are not different from the objectives we had before. It's probably the same. As Africans, we all understand the marginalization which Africa has suffered in the past. We understand our history, both the positive and the negative. And we realize that a lot of the world really does not know who we are. So we are trying to sell the image of Africa, just like other countries have sold themselves. We're trying to show the world that Africa is a viable place, Africans are a viable community to be amongst, and that we have much more to offer than they previously thought we had. So we have seen countries, we travel, we are out here, we see countries which may not have so much, but which have been able to sell themselves better. And people dream of going to live in these countries. But when they go there, they end up being disappointed. We're from Africa, and we realize Africa has much more to offer than a lot of these countries. And so our goal is to let the world understand this. Africa is not a poor continent. It's maybe the richest continent of all. Africa has a vibrant population, a vibrant workforce, which is able to drive the world forward. Africa is the only place left for people, for entrepreneurs and investors to be able to multiply their investments, significantly. Every other economy basically is already saturated. And so our goal is to drive investment to Africa. This is our major goal. And I think this ties in with the major goal of other promoters of Africa in Africa Day across the globe.
Hey, this is wonderful goal you have there and objectives. We pray that the world gets to hear this and know indeed Africans, we are not lazy, you know. So
Definitely not.
the next question on my list here is: can you highlight some of the key activities, performance, or programs that will take place during this year's celebration?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned these activities before. So first of all, like I said, we will be showing off the raw materials, which everybody knows about. I mean, like Africa often exports raw materials to other countries in the form of cocoa beans, coffee, oils, sunflower seeds, and so we will be showcasing these things. We will showcase African art, African paintings. We have paintings, we have sculptures, and we have bronze figures. We have apparel, clothing as well, African traditional materials, designs. So we will showcase all of these things. This is number one. Secondly, we will showcase African dances. So we have invited a dancer who will be dancing during the occasion on those 2 days to allow people to see what African traditional dances look like. And like I mentioned, the most important part of the event will be coffee roasting. People learn how to roast coffee by themselves. So you can purchase a small amount of coffee, and then you go through the steps of roasting it and grinding it and transforming it into drinkable coffee. And you can roast cocoa beans, and you can see how cocoa is transformed into maybe cocoa butter, cocoa liquor, and all of these various components that are used for making chocolate and so on. So these activities, as well as one activity which is composed of, consists of mixing oils, different oils together, African oils, which are used for softening of ladies' hair, for example, or applying on the skin, or taking care of dark spots on the face, or making the skin look younger. We have been using these oils and we've been selling them. Now we're taking them to the public to let them understand more about them. But the main activities would be, like shopping. So people have an opportunity to shop at the African Pavilion, and they get discounts. So those who are registered for this activity will get a 5% discount, and they can get a discount in other pavilions like Iranian and other pavilions which are registered, which are taking part in the Africa Day. So they can go around to other pavilions, get a discount in those pavilions as well during these 2 days. And there are lots and lots of goodies there, from soaps, like we make our own soaps, and a whole host of things. We even have herbal products which are used for improving health. And we will have all of them on sale, on that day. And so people can enjoy music, they can do some tourism, they can shop, they can appreciate African music, they can learn how to mix oils, they can learn how to roast cocoa and coffee. Mostly these will be the activities which will be going on there, apart from actually eating African food.
And are there any specific initiatives or partnerships that facilitate this exchange?
Well, as you know, we have been living in China for decades. I, for one, have been here for more than 20 years. So we are up to a point Chinese. We speak Chinese, we eat Chinese, so we have lots and lots of Chinese friends, people who sometimes have been more than family to us here. And apart from the Chinese friends, we have other members of the Chinese public we interact with on a daily basis. There are Chinese businesses we have invited to these activities, Chinese business people who will also showcase some of their wares at the Cameroon Pavilion during this time. So we will have Chinese business people present also. And these business people will have a chance to interact with the Africans who will be there. And in so doing, establish stronger, contact and collaboration with those who are interested in Chinese products, or they will be able to obtain Chinese products through these Africans who will be present at the event. So just the presence of these Chinese business people at the event is promoting exchange between China and Africa. And they coming to take part in these activities allows them to immerse themselves in our own culture as well, because we living here are immersed in their culture. Now they have a chance through these activities and others like it to immerse themselves into African culture, and this will promote understanding between the two peoples.
What role do local African communities in Shanghai play in organizing and participating in the African Day celebration? How will their involvement contribute to this event's success? Are there any collaboration or sponsorship opportunities available for these entities? Are there any specific messages or themes that the organizers would like to convey to the attendees of this year's African Day celebration?
I would say that yes, there have been some opportunities for sponsorship, direct and indirect. And of course, Bridge Afrique has been one of those who have been behind lots of activities and preparations which have been going on. It's not easy to organize such an event, and so you have to get lots of people involved. And this means that several segments of the African diaspora, the Shanghai African community, have been involved in preparing these activities. But it's not only been limited to the African diaspora. We've had Ukrainians, we've had Romanians, we've had Americans. We have people from other nationalities as well who have been very active, very, very active and proactive even in assisting to organize Africa Day. It would surprise many to know that people from other nations went so far to ensure that this day could be a success. So it certainly will be a success to a large extent due to the backing of African communities in Shanghai, but also due to collaboration with the international community present here in Shanghai. So there have been sponsorships, like I said, Bridge Afrique is one of them, and a few others too. But we didn't go for very heavy sponsorship at this point. It might be coming in the future. The event gets bigger and better organized each time. So certainly there will be such opportunities coming forward.
Okay, got in that. What can you say about our Bridge Afrique magazine and media activities?
I am very close to Mr. Michael Kolawole himself. I have been close to a number of staff from Bridge Afrique over the years, and we have worked together on quite a number of projects. So what I can say about Bridge Afrique is that it has served as its name suggests, as a bridge, as a link between various compartments of the diaspora here, be it Nigerian, Cameroonian, Ghanaian, Kenyan, Zimbabwean, South African. Bridge Afrique has helped to bring a lot of people together. So when we have our activities, you will often see Mr. Michael and some others there. Why? Because he is well known amongst all of these people for his work. He is a born communicator. He naturally brings people together from different walks of life. And so I think that Bridge Afrique is an extension of that. And so it has over the years allowed people to express themselves from different communities and to allow other people to be aware of the existence of certain groups and their activities here in China. Now, Bridge Afrique has also established a bridge between the diaspora here and those who are still in the mainland, those who are back in Nigeria, like yourself, those who are in Cameroon, those who are in Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and all of these places. And so it has really been useful in its own way in bringing our community together. When we think of the fact that our aim today as Pan-Africans is to tear down the walls, tear down the boundaries between our nations, such that we stop looking at each other as Nigerians, as Cameroonians, as Ghanaians, and we start seeing each other as simply Africans. I think that Bridge Afrique has played a great role in doing this in the same category as people like Guatemala and others. Bridge Afrique has played this kind of a role here in the diaspora and between us in the diaspora and people in the homeland. So I look forward to this activity growing. As far as suggestions are concerned, I might not have too many at this time, but in the future I will have. I just think that Bridge Afrique works a lot with the diaspora Africans and Africans in the continent. It might be a good thing if it expands its activities to more of the Caribbean and even Western, communities which are here, so that they can become more aware of the activities which are going on in the African community. So I think this is what I would suggest for now.
Wonderful improvements and recommendations. Thank you so much. With Africa Magazine, we are happy having you, and thank you for your time so far, Anthony Balinga, Dr. Anthony Balinga. Yeah, we pray and hope that the success of African Day celebration will be a huge success, and we hope to invite you here again when there is a need to pass across a very important activity to the world. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for giving us your time. And to all our viewers, don't forget that knowing what to do is half of getting what you want. So you want your advert on our Bridge Afrique magazine is next in line. Contact us today and let's give you a global branding and publicity. Contact our executive producer, Mr. Kolewole Michael JP. And if you like what we are doing, you want to sponsor our program, the account number details across the screen. You're going to see it there. We count on your support for continuity of this good program. One love. Bye-bye.
It's my tips in records.
It's one-on-one with CEOs and pace setters. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one with CEOs and pace setters. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one, yeah. It's one-on-one with CEOs and pace setters. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one, yeah.
Welcome to One on One with CEOs and Pace Setters.